All right, today we're going to be checking out and reviewing the Hygger Sun Aquarium LED light. It's model HG129. It's a 20-watt light for freshwater. It's a 12 to 18 inch light, so of course has the expandable feet or the legs. But what's really cool about this one is it comes with a little stand, so you have different options for this particular light. Hygger did provide this to me at no cost, so full disclosure there. But if you guys have watched my channel for a long time, you know I run Hygger lights and I actually use them every day, all day. So I love their products. Let's see if this one can replace one of the current lights I'm using. All right, some features that Hygger states, ultra bright, 5054 plus 2835 LEDs. I'd be honest with you, don't know what those numbers mean. We're just gonna say ultra bright LEDs. I'm assuming that's the type of LED. Maybe if you're a technical person, you can tell me what that LED number means. But anyway, supposed to be brighter than the one I'm using right now. It has day and moon timer and a DIY program setting. That's pretty much all Hygger lights have the DIY, but this has the rising sun and setting moon. So we'll see how that's different. Now it has a clip or the extendable bracket for a range of tank sizes. So you can mount this in different ways. We're going to go through that in the unboxing. 24-hour lighting mode creates the gradual sunrise, sunset, and moon lighting, which I just explained. Memory function. This is the feature that I'm looking at the most. This has a internal battery so that if you lose power, whatever program you put on it is supposed to maintain its settings. So we're going to test that. And I'll explain more about what I'm expecting of that feature here later on in the video. And it's suitable for planted tanks, freshwater aquarium. Don't know why you couldn't light a saltwater aquarium with it, maybe the photo spectrum, something like that. But Hygger says freshwater only. On par with all of my reviews, I have opened the product just to make sure it was not damaged in shipping, but I have not taken the product out, looked at the plastic, or removed the plastic, looked at the light, or anything of that nature. So I'm seeing it the first time you are seeing it. Now these are the standard brackets with pretty much any aquarium light, specifically, there we go. Specifically Hygger lights always have this little metal bracket here for the feet. So you can set it on top of the aquarium and they slide right into the light like so. So here's our light. There's a look at the LED positions there. You have 24 large LEDs in the middle, and you have 36 of the smaller LEDs in 3 lines here. So that's what you're getting for LEDs on the light. We have our power cord and control box, which is standard to most aquarium lights. I'm sure you're familiar with it. We'll go over the functions here in a little bit. There is the battery. So right there taped to the instructions is the battery. I guess I have to self-install that. I actually enjoy that the battery is separate, because if you put it in the unit and then this sits on a store shelf for a year or something, it might drain the battery. So there's our battery backup. This is going to be the plug itself to plug into the wall. I'm in the US, so this is a US plug, power brick, whatever you want to call it. And here is where it's interesting. We have an arm, which I did not know had measurements on it. There you go. So you've got measurements in centimeters and in inches that you can, I guess, adjust how far either high the light goes or how far out it goes. But this is the bracket that would go on the aquarium. And then this is what's going to hold the light onto this rail. So let me take a quick read of the instructions. Yes, I am a guy that reads instructions. You would not believe it if you met me in life. But let me read this, make sure that I know which way this bracket's supposed to go. I'm going to put this battery in it, and then we're going to crack on with the review. I just wanted to show you guys here on the back. This is where the backup battery goes, where the little cap go. This little cap was very easy to take out. I just really used my thumbnail. Come on camera, focus here. There's a little kind of slot right there, so just twist it counterclockwise, take the cap off, it pops right out. Insert the battery. Watch battery should be smooth side up. That'll make sense when you see it. Smooth side up, just slide it into the little tab. There are nothing in the instructions that I found on how to install the watch battery, so you would have to just know how to put one in. That's why I'm giving you a quick tutorial in case you've never done one before. Okay, I'm going to put this bracket together here, and I think the way that I'm going to want to do it, since the light's going to stick out from the short part here, That should be about the right distance for the aquarium that I'm installing it on. It appears that you could do it if you had, I don't know, like a shallow, long aquarium and you wanted to mount it on the side and have the light go way out. You probably could do that as well. That's because the way the bracket is set up here. So the bracket has these rails right here and it just kind of slides in to the bracket that goes on the aquarium. Now, as you can see, I will tell you, this is very stiff, very, very stiff. And I would be careful, even though these are not sharp edges, the corner of the bracket could be a little sharp or pokey. So do take caution when you're putting this thing on, because when I tell you that this thing takes some force, it takes some force. Like, you don't even need this little set screw right here. I'm gonna start on the highest setting. This is, okay. Maybe if I go back and forth a couple of times, I can get this to kind of cut grooves and loosen up. But when I tell you it's tight, man, it's tight. All right, it's getting a little bit better, but yeah, that's tight. So do use caution when you're assembling this. I'm going to put it down at its lowest setting. Jeez, there we go. Or I'm going to set it at its highest setting, rather. Put the bracket as low as it can go. I'll put the set screw in just for show, but let me tell you, no set screw required at the moment. If I was going to remanufacture this light, I would definitely redesign the bracket here to be a little easier for the consumer to install. This part looks pretty self-explanatory. We take the light. Which way do I want the power cord? I want the power cord over here. This should just clip on, I think. Yep, just clip that on. That holds the light. This bracket is, contrary to the other bracket, very loose on the light, so it's not going to cause a big deal when you actually use it, because once you get it set, gravity is just going to keep it where you want it. Might be handy for cleaning. You can just slide it over real quick or something. But we'll go ahead and put this on. You have the railing system here. It's just going to slide in to the rail. This slides in much nicer and cleaner. See, very easy. So we will be able to adjust how far out the light needs to go to be centered on the aquarium. And we'll put the little set screw back in. All right, that holds pretty good on the bracket. I don't need the little feet, so we're gonna take the little side feet out that you could set on top of the aquarium. We'll demo that by showing you the current light that I'm replacing this one with. All right, here are two identical aquariums with two identical Hygger lights. The lights currently on this aquarium is model 999, I believe. Let me see. Yes, they are HG999. That's what's on there currently. And as you can see, it's pretty bright. I mean, there's really no complaints with the light. These lights are actually the very first Hygger lights I ever got. And I bought these and I've been running them for, I don't know, 3 years now. Never had an issue with those lights. So that's why I love Hygger and I'm happy that they continue to support my channel. This light is just a little bit too long for the aquarium. You can see the foot is right at the edge here. That's how these little feet work if you have never seen an aquarium light before. So I have to just kind of balance it out, move it over a little bit. And a lot of times when I'm cleaning and stuff, what will happen is I will tap this light and it'll fall over like that. So I want to replace the light simply for the feet. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I'm going to mount and install the new Hygger light, the Sun, and let's play with it. All right. At the full extension, the light was so tall that it was out of frame of the camera. So we'll go ahead and raise that up. Wow, that's a lot taller than I thought it was going to be. All right, let's get it plugged in and turn it on. Well, I can already see possibly a problem. For me anyway. I will explain here in a minute. Let's first turn the light on so we can just see the brightness. Okay, it went to red. You got orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, which this should be probably the moonlight setting, and then or moonlight color. There's purple, and then should go back to white generally with these Hygger lights. There we go, back to white. Now here's what I mean where this light may not work for me in the conventional way that I use all my Hygger lights. See, I live in Florida, and hi, I'm Steve, by the way, if you've never been on the channel. First time you're seeing my face in this video. But I live in Florida, and we have a lot of thunderstorms in Florida. And with those thunderstorms come lightning strikes. And with lightning strikes comes power outages. Sometimes just a flicker, lights off and back on. Sometimes we're out for hours, it's been days on hurricane seasons. So for me, the way that I run my lights, as I will show you, I have them on smart timers, smart outlets. So they're connected to Wi-Fi, and when the power goes out and it comes back on, they resume their settings. And if they don't resume their settings, I can manually turn them on even if I'm at work, because it's an app on the phone. So let me show you those, and let me show you why I run mostly Hygger lights, because of the simplicity of their on-off feature. So here's how I have it set up. That orange splitter there is connected to one of those white smart outlets. And if I click the button on my phone here, we can turn them off like such. So let me get you back up here where you have a better view. So watch the bottom aquarium here. When I, keep in mind these are both plugged into the same smart outlet. When I turn the light back on, say resume power from a power outage, the bottom aquarium comes on, the top aquarium with the new light just flickers for a minute and then defaults to the off setting. I prefer my lights to default to the on setting. Besides the storms, another reason I like my lights to default to the on position is because I run a 6 on, 6 off, 6 on, 6 off cycle for my lights. So 2 photo periods per day. That smart outlet clicks on and off, the CO2 clicks on and off, and I need everything to be on properly and not default to the off setting. So I know that the battery backup is working because the time is advancing, let's say. Now, I'm on white, I unplug power outage, power comes back on, it goes off, and if I click the button to turn the power back on, it goes to orange. Not a big fan of that, I'll be honest with you. You guys know that I do honest reviews. Hygger knows I do honest reviews. This particular light, I'm not enjoying the features of at the moment. So let me get it back. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. I'll read some instructions, make sure I'm not doing anything wrong, and we'll be back in a second. Okay, good news. I've played around with the light. I've set all the settings, got it set up properly, and now watch what happens when we have a power outage. Unplug, power outage, plug it back in, power restored, light defaults to back on. So a little bit of drama there in the video that keeps things exciting for YouTube, but once again, Hygger has delivered. I'm just an idiot and didn't set it up. So going through the control module here, which I'm going to show you, it was set for daylight mode or 24/7 mode, whatever. So being that the initial settings are what they were, the light was defaulting to off when I plugged it back in because it thought it wanted to be off because it thought it was nighttime. So again, let's go through the control box, or not again, but let's go through the control box here. Let me show you how I fixed this to get the light to default to back on, and then we'll go through the settings where you could customize it to your liking. So the first thing you want to do is press and hold this set button, and that's going to set the time. It is currently 2 p.m. right now, so I set the actual time, and then you can see I have everything here listed as off, off, off. That's because I'm not going to run day-night mode, and I'm not going to run a custom 24/7 mode. Now, if I go to day-night mode, you can set the moonlight on and off. You see that I just got it to turn off, so it's now in night mode. So you push and hold day-night mode if you want to turn it on, and it'll tell you, it's blinking here, what time do you want it to turn on, what time do you want it to turn off. It's pretty extensive. If this is what you want, a daylight and a night mode where it just clicks back and forth, then you can go in there and set that up. Read the instructions. It's very easy to figure out how to set that day-night mode off and on. You can see now this is the day mode, so the light turned back on, and it's setting when do I want it to turn off again, and when would I want it to turn back on. There's your moonlight. You can see the blue. Let me back you up a little bit here. Pretty cool little moonlight setting there. And so you can go through and program this thing however you would like to until it defaults. Again, I have it set to off. Now you have your 24/7 mode here. You push and hold 24/7, and what that's going to do is give you your start time and end time for each section of your day. So let's start with, like, maybe you wanted to turn this light on at 9 o'clock or whatever the display here says. Right now it's defaulting at 0. I've played with it and turned it up to 100%. But you can set this in 5% increments, which is pretty extensive. That's like 20 different settings. So you have 75%, 70%, 65, 60. I'm going down. So you could set this to be maybe just like 5% for starting. And then you click the 24/7 button. It's going to take you to what time you want that 5% to stop. and what brightness you want it to be at when it stops. And then you click it again, it goes back to the next mode, and you can adjust your brightness for each setting. This is now the nighttime setting, and I have it at 100% brightness, but it's the blue and white combo. So you can adjust that to be whatever brightness of moonlight you would like on your 24/7 mode. And then finally, what time do you want the light to shut off 100%? Or you could run your moonlight all night if you wanted to. And then it defaults to on, off, or goes back to the original setting here. If you click it once, it'll turn it on. You may have seen, if you click it again, it turns it off. That's where I was messed up. This was defaulted on, and so every time I turn the light on, it would go back to the moonlight setting. So now let me get back to white and see if I didn't screw something up again. All right, back to just white. Everything is off. Daylight mode is off. A 24/7 mode is off. You can see up here, day timer, night timer, and 24/7. So none of those are lit up, which means none of the timers are activated. It's just a regular light right now. Unplug, it's off, plug it back in, and it turns on. So, redemption for the Hygger light. Now, let's talk about brightness, and let's adjust the light to try and match the brightness of the other aquarium and see, is it super bright for a smaller light, or is it super not? First thing I want to do is just show you a size comparison of the lights. So here you can see it's a little bit shorter than the light I was currently using, but with the addition of the height, gives the aquarium a little bit more of an open feel versus this one was sitting down, and it just, kind of blocks your view from above. So if this is on a stand where you're walking by it, or maybe it's in your office or something like that, let me move this cord out of the way, we don't need that. Maybe you want to see the top of the water surface. So that's why I enjoy having the light on this little stand. However, being as far away as it is, we can clearly see a difference in brightness between the HG999 and up here. Just a little bit softer light. I hope that's coming in on the camera. But I bet you if I lower this light down and get it closer to the water, it's going to get brighter. So let me put you on a tripod, and then we'll take a look at that. Now, I'm kind of dreading this because I told you how tight that bracket is. Being on the aquarium might make it easier, or maybe I'm just weak. But let me go ahead and loosen this set screw back here. That should be plenty. I hope this doesn't break the aquarium. Nah, it's still really stiff, guys. I mean, I can do it, but it's pretty stiff. Anyway, let's see the brightness level. If I get it down lower, I'm trying to look at this manually here. What's it look like in the camera? Yeah, we're getting pretty close, but just not that vivid white. Get it a little bit lower. It looks good. The color temperature is very nice on it for the white setting. Let me just go all the way down here. All right, we're all the way down. That's as far down as it can go. Aesthetically, it looks okay. And I think you can see over here, it is pretty bright. So it is reflecting. Let's take a look at each aquarium here. That's the new Hygger Sun. Get an idea of the brightness there. And that's the HG999. A little bit more of the white color spectrum, so just a little bit brighter. Of course, the camera likes to try and wash out these white tones, but color temperature on this aquarium with the light all the way down, very good. Now, while you're in that view, I'm going to raise the light back up to kind of where I want it. I don't want it too tall. Okay, going up is proving to be harder than going down. I really don't like the bracket, to be honest with you. It's just too tough to move around. I mean, if you had a young person trying to adjust the light and play with their aquarium, they just might not even have the strength to get it done. But real time, I'm trying to see if you can see a difference in the color as I'm adjusting the light up. Not too much of a difference. I'm just going for the aesthetics of how high I want the light to be. So let me back you up and you can kind of see what I'm doing here. It just looks a little funny to have the light too tall. I do want to be able to get in here and do my maintenance a little easier. This bracket's getting a little bit easier to use as I'm going up and down and kind of wearing it in, I guess, because this is plastic and it's rubbing against metal. So the plastic will wear and make this a little bit easier. I think aesthetically down just a little bit more for me. If you wiggle it back and forth too, that kind of helps to get that bracket to slide down. All right, cool. I think that's about where I want it. As mentioned, this bracket here is loose, so you can just kind of move the light over. But I'm happy with where it's set up, and I'm happy with the brightness and the softer tone from this light. It is smaller, so you have to understand there's less LEDs in this one than there's going to be in the HG999. So it's going to provide a softer light for you. If that's something you want, you don't want a big bright light in your face or a super bright aquarium causing algae issues, then it would be a good option for you to consider, and you can adjust the height as needed. And the final thing I want to discuss is the light's viewing angle. So where I sit, behind me is a recliner, and I'm about to sit down in the recliner, and I'm holding the camera at my eye level. So this is my eye level. As I sit down into the recliner, you can see barely underneath the light. I'm not getting too much of glare or anything because the light is set properly, and with it being a little bit less bright, it's very pleasant to still look at the aquarium from this position, and I'm not getting blinded by the light. Okay, so let's recap some features of the light and some applications possibly where you could use this. The light is 11 inches long. It is 4 inches deep and I don't know, about an inch or so thick. It is pretty bright. I just looked at it again and now I'm seeing spots. So definitely bright for its little size. It might be a little small for a 10-gallon, which I have here. But let me show you a couple other aquariums where maybe this light would be better suited. This is a UNS tall aquarium, my most recent build, by the way. Sneak peek unless you watch the shorts. But it's a 12-inch aquarium. So if you put an 11-inch light over top of it, it would fit aesthetically very nice and probably provide the needed light for this size aquarium. Though being a tall, you would have to worry about maybe low light plants in the bottom. I wouldn't want to put any like high energy grasses or stuff like that. This particular aquarium is actually running a Hygger light. See, I told you I use Hygger lights. This is their Max Pro, and it's a 100 watt. It's a bright boy. What if you have a cube aquarium? Now don't mind the cloudiness here. This aquarium is about to get torn down, so the filter has been removed. But this is a 12-inch cube. So if you put this light on a 12-inch cube, look at how it would fit really nice. And being that it's only got to go penetrate the water 12 inches deep, this might be a good option for that light as well. If you want to get real crazy, you could run 2 of these on like a 3-gallon long. So you put like an 11-inch there and an 11-inch over here. And you could even do, say, a different light intensity to create some crazy mood from left to right on the aquarium. Maybe you have a cave system over here. You bring the light down a little bit lower and you have this one over here a lot brighter. By the way, Hygger light, aquarium below it, Hygger light. Come on, guys. I love Hygger. They make some great products. All right, so who do I think this light is for? Well, it could be for anybody, but with some caveats. If you're setting up a aquarium in a children's room, maybe you don't want that complex of a controller if you're gonna have them programming it or using it throughout the lifespan of that aquarium. You might want to go with another Hygger light that has like a simpler controller. They even make ones that are just 3 buttons, just on, off, and the different colors. That's something real simple that maybe a child could play with the colors, put it on purple, put it on, you know, orange or blue, and just have a lot of fun with it. Now, you can do that with this one. Just tell them the multicolored button is the only one to push, but if they start pushing other buttons, they could change the programming. If you have a planted aquarium, that could mess up your light cycle. So little caveat to where I think this would be more suited for either a medium experienced aquarist that is familiar with setting up light cycles, what percent of ramp up you want and what percent of decreased light, I guess ramp down you want. But I do think it's suited for smaller aquariums. I may have overstepped how large of an aquarium this would be suited for. It does physically fit. The feet would even stretch across and reach. In fact, let's show you that right now. So here's what it looks like if I just set it up kind of traditional style with the little legs going from each side of the aquarium. It actually creates a pretty cool effect. If you look at the aquarium now, it's like a hot spot in the middle. And we have an area of shadow and tension over here on the left. If you know aquascaping, you like to have shadows and tension. Creates a nice looking aquascape. That actually looks pretty cool. I might have to leave it in this setup, to be honest with you. But let's get back to the wrapping up this review. So I believe it could be for just about anybody that has a small aquarium that wants different options for having the light down low to create maybe that spotlight effect like I just showed you, or maybe you wanted to put it up very high so that you have a very soft light. You can adjust in 5% increments the amount of light, which is very, very cool. Not a lot of lights do that. Most of them just go 10, 20, 30, 40. Some of them don't even have that many selections. Let's talk about price. I know everybody wants to know price. Currently, this light is on Amazon. Link in description for you. Also link to the Hygger affiliate page if you want to shop directly with Hygger. But $39.99 US dollars, so $40 US dollars for this light currently. The one below it, the Hygger 999, is currently $57.99, so $58 US dollars as of the making of this video, which is October of 2025. So if you're looking for an inexpensive light that gives you a lot of options, a lot of setup options, a lot of lighting mode options, daylight mode, night mode, moon mode, 24/7, or just simply on and off like me, or you want to do different colors for a party you're throwing, this light kind of does everything in a small package. So while I had some trouble setting it up in the beginning, that's user error, but something to consider if you're looking at this light. I want to say thank you to Hygger for once again supporting the channel. I'm going to leave it on here, and as a matter of fact, I think I'm going to put it back down on top of the aquarium because I really love that spotlight effect on that aquarium. Thank you guys for watching the video. Thank you, Hygger, for supporting the video. And if you want one, link in the description if you want to go straight through Amazon because you like the Prime shipping or whatever. But if you want to support Hygger directly and save them the Amazon fees, I'll leave a link to my affiliate page, and you can go buy the light right there on that link. That's it. See you later.